Hi, I'm Jay and welcome to March's edition of WildWatch. This month we've got a jam-packed lineup for you, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the otters with John. Scott's in the Discovery Hide telling us a little bit about the early signs of spring, and then I'm finishing off to tell you what's been going on with our mud puppies and their behaviour.
Hello there, we're back in the otter pen with Flo, who's the mum down here, and Minnie, who's getting braver to come and have a piece of salmon. Now, why we're in the otters today is because, wonderfully, the reserve team have had some camera footage of 4 otters out on the reserve. And that's unusual because the Eurasian river otter, our native otter, is a solitary animal. If you see a group, or technically a romp of otters, then it's either mum and the cubs, or sometimes, as we suspect, it's the cubs hanging round together. Now, our otters, my otters, are actually North American river otters, and they're a bit more sociable. And this scenario of mum and her 2 daughters sometimes happens in the wild, and quite often they'll even stay with mum even when she's had some more cubs. Our native otter, as I say, fairly solitary, doesn't really like each other, bit of a grumpy pants, but the youngsters will hang around until they're the sort of spotty teenagers and then split up and go their separate ways. Mum tends to keep the territory and Dad moves around, and it looks likely that that's happening at the moment. Spring has sprung and it's all go out on the reserve.
We're here in the Discovery Hide overlooking the South Lake as signs of spring start to appear on the reserve. Towards the end of February, the Buick swans started to head back to their breeding grounds, and out here on the lakes and scrapes we're seeing our ducks starting to display, our great crested grebes are dancing, but absolute favourite for me are the return of our breeding waders. So we have loads of waders here during the winter at Slimbridge, but the first of our breeding species to turn up this year were the oyster catchers. First pairs were back here in late January, and now you can see many pairs across the reserve contesting territory with their noisy displays. But out of all the breeding waders we get here at Slimbridge, lapwing are my absolute favourites. We're fortunate we get several thousand wintering here, but when the breeding season gets going, these great birds really show their true characteristics. They're a fantastic species to look at. You can see that fantastic iridescent plumage, the really long, nice crests, but it's when these guys take to the air for their noisy aerobatical displays, that's when they're really at their absolute best. And as the spring gets underway, we'll start to see more and more birds start to arrive on the reserve, ready to breed here. And you can catch up with all of our latest sightings on our website, and for the latest up-to-date information direct to your phone, you can follow us at Slimbridge Wild on Twitter.
This time of the year I'm excited but also very nervous because the mud puppies start to lay their eggs, and that is very, very rare in captivity. The group we have here at Slimbridge is very good at laying eggs. They lay eggs every year and have done since they are sexually mature. Unfortunately, those eggs haven't very often produced larvae. We've had a number of times where the eggs have hatched but the young haven't been good enough to successfully raise to adulthood. Mud puppies are very hard to breed in captivity, and it's only been done successfully once in the world that we know of. We've currently got 2 females that have laid eggs successfully in their nests on the underside of the rock. We're hoping these eggs are going to be fertile, so what I'm going to do this year, I'm actually going to remove them from the females, or some of them at least, and try and rear them up for ourselves in Toad Hall. Because in the past, sometimes a male has sneaked into the female's nest and taken some of the eggs and eaten some of the eggs. And even the females have been known, occasionally through stress, decided to eat their own eggs themselves. So if we take a few away, we might be more successful. Thanks for taking the time to watch this month's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep up to date on our events and activities that are going on at Slimbridge in our social media pages, and hopefully I'll have some good news for you with the mud puppies for next month's episode.